This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, a Dunedin band has returned to its roots and bought the flat which gave them their name. A dozen people have flown to Rakiura, Stewart Island, to undertake the southernmost COVID-19 vaccination program. And a tourism master plan has been launched for Milford Sound to hopefully mitigate peak season overcrowding and environmental damage. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. New Zealand band 660 have bought the Castle Street flat which gave the band its name. The Dunedin five-piece band, formed while students at the University of Otago, and now just over a decade later are choosing to help musicians studying at Otago.
The band 660, who formed while flatting at 660 Castle Street, have bought their former flat.
And we just want to help. We just want to help to harness that and make it as accessible as it was for us. Because when we're here, really, look, we were just hanging out with our friends, doing things for our friends. The street was packed with students, and it was such a natural progression for us. And we just want to feed that fire.
They've reportedly bought the six-bedroom flat for $1.7 million from a private landlord. Part of the band's plan is to encourage up-and-coming musicians, which is being done in conjunction with the University of Otago.
An amazing thing to do, I think, that the band want to actually take a part back in Dunedin and to look after the students that are here. Yeah. So it's really amazing that they want to give back to the university and particularly to the students, not to the institution per se. Yeah.
660 met with the flat's current tenants and had a walk-through before a local kaumatua walked through with the band, blessing Te Whare with karakia. The band's keyboard player says buying the flat is only the beginning of their involvement.
It's really the tip of the iceberg. What's underneath is a scholarship that we're providing for students and for people like-minded who are interested in music, not necessarily studying music, but have an interest and maybe studying other stuff, to be able to get mentored by us and have the scholarship to help them realise their dreams.
660 have been together for about 12 years, releasing their first EP in 2009. Marlon Gerbs and Eli Paiwai say the band learnt a few lessons along the way.
Well, I personally think drinking when you're playing, that was a big band golden opportunity, is drinking too much before we play. Now we don't drink as much, but afterwards.
Yeah, and that adversity is good. I think as a group, you're never stronger than you are after you come through a challenge or some kind of adversity. I think people should embrace it.
Just before the band pulled up, amidst the growing media scrum, neighbours at 668 Castle Street, who admit being 660 fans, were pretty sure they'd remain cool when the band arrived.
I'm just going to stand here and act really cool.
Yeah, just act calm, collected, even though we're really excited.
As part of the deal, 4 students will live rent-free for a year, each with a $10,000 scholarship, and the chance to be mentored by members of the band. In Dunedin, The South Today.
A Mosgiel couple have called in an engineer to keep pressure on the Dunedin City Council about their troublesome retaining wall. Structural engineer Bruce Chisholm says the council has so far allowed the developer to get away with producing work inconsistent with what was consented. Neither the development company Gladstone Heights Limited nor the council have accepted liability for the wooden wall that is now bulging. The couple who bought the property are facing a fine of up to $200,000 if they do not invest in potentially expensive repairs to the wall. The council says once the couple took ownership of the property, they also took on responsibility for the wall. New Zealand's southernmost COVID-19 vaccine clinic popped up on Stewart Island this week. A medical crew of 12 flew onto the island on Wednesday to start the first round of vaccinations, which finished up today.
Nurse practitioner Nadine Goldsmith of Awarua Whānau Services in Invercargill was being very careful with the delicate vials of COVID-19 vaccine before their flight to Stewart Island.
And so we have to be pretty careful and gentle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, when we're handling this, because we have to make sure that the vaccine doesn't get moved too much, that it's handled delicately.
Wednesday saw Goldsmith and a team of 11 other medical staff make a start on delivering the first COVID jab to the 385 eligible people on the island.
We were going to vaccinate 15 local people from Rakiura, and then our clinic will be walk-in clinics, and so the hope is that as many people as possible from Rakiura will come in and receive dose 1 of their vaccination.
When the clinic opened its doors on Thursday for the first full day of immunisations, locals flocked in, with more than 100 people being vaccinated in the first 2.5 hours, and there being no sign of demand slowing.
Well, it's good to know that the first step's been taken, and 1 to go in 3 weeks or however long it is. It's pretty good to be on the train.
It's also important that every single corner of Aotearoa, New Zealand, gets the same access to vaccine, and so we're really excited to be here to give the people of Rakiura a positive health experience and to vaccinate them safely.
A clinic to administer the second dose of the vaccine is set to run on the island in mid-August to ensure residents are fully vaccinated. On Stewart Island, the South Today.
And following on from that story, the vast majority of southern general practice clinics are now ready to dispense COVID-19 vaccinations. However, many clinics with their own well-established and efficient booking systems have complained about having to use the Ministry of Health system. One GP, speaking anonymously, has described the system as clunky and frustrating. Despite those concerns, 85% of Otago and Southland's general practices have now signed up to take part in the vaccine rollout. Parts of Fiordland may become a lot more tranquil if the Milford Opportunities Project Master Plan goes ahead. The project proposes banning cruise ships and fixed-wing aircraft from the inner reaches of the Sound.
The days of monster cruise ships sailing through the inner arms of Fiordland's Milford Sound may be over. The Milford Opportunities Project Master Plan was unveiled at a presentation in Te Anau yesterday. Keith Turner of the governance group says it's a result of 4 years of research and analysis distilled into a report of over 1,500 pages.
The way Milford was accessed by the majority in the pre-COVID days was they all turned up at around midday, and it was a big crush and a rush for 2 or 3 hours, and then it went quiet. We're approaching this with a goal to try and distribute the number of people going in so that they don't feel like they're tripping over each other, and actually we can get more people in with greater degree of tranquility and sense of place if we manage it properly than we might have been able to before.
The project also calls for a ban on fixed-wing aircraft at Milford, and Great South CEO Graham Budd says he's largely in favour of the project, which was created in response to rising numbers of tourists jostling for a chance to take in the iconic views.
I think that this has actually got a really positive, has a really positive impact on what the future experience will be and should be for one of New Zealand's, most iconic experiences. So, thinking about improving visitor experiences in the future, particularly when international visitors are able to get back into the country, I think it's going to be nothing but positive.
The report also proposes that overseas visitors will have to pay to enter the area, with Turner keen to see a different approach to the pre-COVID one of shovelling as many visitors through as possible.
There was something like 870,000 in 2019 before COVID. Most of those were international tourists, only about 15% were New Zealanders. and they were all travelling from Queenstown. Majority were travelling from Queenstown to Milford and back in a day. So a long day, big rush, not a lot of time to dwell, not a lot of time to soak in the extraordinary grandeur of the wilderness place that we've got here. So they were really missing the true essence of the visit.
The New Zealand Cruise Association says cruise ships could abandon visiting Fiordland if the entry ban goes ahead, possibly resulting in them missing other ports such as Dunedin as well. In Fiordland, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Dunedin City Councillors receive a small pay rise, but Mayor Aaron Hawkins misses out. And we have this week's edition of Football Chat for you, so catch this and more after the break.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Campbell's Menswear. We have a massive manufacturer's clearance plus. There's liquidated stock from our suppliers. For example, we have cotton casual trousers from 1990, dress trousers from 1990, merino zip pullovers, fashion shirts, warm winter shirts, jackets. There's a great deal on overcoats, blazers and suits. Come and check out our jeans. We're known for our jean selection.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Come in and see the massive manufacturer's clearance at Alex Campbell Menswear.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Be sure to tune in to Football Chat every week, where we chat about local football fixtures, results and everything else that's happening in the local game.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Welcome back. There is no pay increase for Dunedin Mayor Aaron Hawkins, but his colleagues have received a small rise. The Remuneration Authority has determined the Mayor's pay should stay at just over $166,000 a year. However, there are small increases for the Deputy Mayor, councillors and community board members, adding up to nearly $11,000. The pay rises took effect from July the 1st, and the Dunedin City Council, which must accept the amounts determined by the authority, said this could be met from existing budgets. There were small increases for community boards across the country. Some councils received no increases, and most had a 1% to 1.5% increase in their remuneration. A new group has been formed to oppose plans by Christchurch International Airport to create a wide-body jet-capable airport in Terrace. About 300 people have signed up to the website of the new Stop Central Otago Airport group. Another group called Sustainable Terrace also opposes the proposed airport. The two groups are now working together. The new group has been led by Zella Downing, who says the proposed airport has big business backing that could be hard to fight. In this week's episode of Football Chat, Matt Kelly and Rahan Ali talk with two local players about their games last weekend.
And we are back. Welcome to this week's Football Chat with myself, Rahan Ali, and my co-host, Matt Kelly. We had a few disappointed people last week that we had no show. Your Craig Johnstons, your Andy Brooks, your Cam McPhails, and we can't disappoint them 2 weeks in a row. So, yeah, we're back to give the fans what they want, which is a good old chat about some local football.
Absolutely, and what two better men to be doing the talking. Now, we're joined here with Ben O'Farrell from University and Saffron here from Roslyn. Welcome.
Kia ora. May I be the first to welcome you to the show.
Hiya. Welcome. It really is shaping up to be a great show. We've got two great people on, and obviously Ben and Saffron too. But Benny, let's get into it. So, starting with you. Your boys have been flying recently with a string of good results. Another great result, 3-1 against Selwyn in the weekend, to put you top of the South Island League. Give us a wee run through of how that game played out.
Well, thank you, Rahan. Yeah, that was an excellent game for us. I heard from through the grapevine at the club, that was perhaps our best performance in years, maybe ever, in a varsity for a varsity team. We were dominant from the start, kept possession like we strive to, and we really clicked all over the park. Players were fit and firing.
So, Safi, you played Queenstown on the weekend and you drew 1-1.
Yeah.
Can you run us through the game, please?
It was quite a tight game. We were looking going into the game to win. Unfortunately, we drew. That's usual for us, though. We usually only draw or score 1-0. They score against us. We went in pretty strong. We scored first. We held the lead after half-time until they scored in the 70th minute, which was disappointing, and we couldn't quite fight to get the win. But we needed that one, but it's unfortunate we couldn't.
All right, you'll be looking forward to this weekend. Safi, you've been to 2 New Zealand under-17 camps now. How have you found playing at that higher level, and what is the next step for that team? What's coming up?
I'm looking to better my opportunities, get somewhere further than just at the camps. But it's amazing being at these camps because playing against girls just as good, better than you, it really pushes yourself, and it's good being there.
Any players up there noticeably who have been really stand out?
I enjoy watching and playing amongst them all. I've played against these girls for reps and national age groups, so playing alongside them just is something so much better. But yeah, heaps of girls there. I can name.
When do they name the squad?
Towards the end of December.
Okay.
So there's still another camp to go to if we get selected, and we won't know till end of the year.
Cool, excellent. We wish you all the best there.
Thank you.
Thanks to our guests Ben and Saffron. Well, not
always
thank
a
you to Ben.
pleasure.
He's
See you again in a few weeks.
rather than a pleasure.
Mainly Saffron.
But to our viewers, keep sending in your comments and your fan mail. Danny's desk is getting a bit empty, and we like to keep him busy, or else he just sits around chewing the breeze.
Yeah.
We also want to thank 2 members of the behind-the-scenes crew. We've got cameraman and editor Luke Chapman and Beth Lyons, who does a lot of the organising for us. So
they do a great job.
Without that show, we're just a couple guys sitting in a room,
chewing the fat,
shooting the breeze.
Yeah. Nothing
but thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can watch the full interview online at odt.co.nz. Still to come on the South today, there's no early release for an armed robber who's targeted 3 Dunedin dairies. And we take a look at tomorrow's weather for you, so see you after the break.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Campbell's Menswear. We have a massive manufacturer's clearance plus. There's liquidated stock from our suppliers. For example, we have cotton casual trousers from 1990, dress trousers from 1990, merino zip pullovers, fashion shirts, warm winter shirts, jackets. There's a great deal on overcoats, blazers and suits. Come and check out our jeans. We're known for our jean selection.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Come in and see the massive manufacturer's clearance at Alex Campbell Menswear.
Thanks for staying with us. An armed robber who targeted 3 Dunedin dairies will remain behind bars until at least next year. In 2018, Andre Gaurard, assisted by Cheyenne Oliver Baker, first robbed the Musselburgh dairy, taking cash, cigarettes and tobacco pouches worth nearly $3,000. Gaurard went on to commit further robbery offences in the following weeks. He is currently serving a term of 6 years imprisonment. The parole board has turned down his latest bid for early release because he had no approved address, nor had there been any integration meeting with his supporters. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. A Dunedin band has returned to its roots and bought the flat which gave them their name. A dozen people have flown to Rakiura Stewart Island to undertake the southernmost COVID-19 vaccination program. And a tourism master plan has been launched for Milford Sound to hopefully mitigate peak season overcrowding and environmental damage. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Editor Barry. How are you doing?
Hello, Melissa. Commerce Commission, of course, this morning released a report on the supermarket industry, and we've discovered that the man behind that sowed the seeds for that investigation was a Dunedin man called Bill Southworth, who went into a German supermarket and discovered New Zealand produce at a cheaper rate than what he could buy in New Zealand. So that sparked the investigation. So that's kind of interesting. We talked to operators going in and out of Milford with the potential tourism lockdown there, and of course we also follow up the big news of the day, which is 660 reclaiming its
660.
It's 660 residents. So interesting story about the scholarships and that sort of thing. And of course we won a gold medal at the Olympic Games today. Happy days.
Wonderful, and you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
beginning with the southern view, Castle Street this afternoon. Looking at the situation, a trough of low pressure will pass over southern districts tomorrow, with mild northerly airflow at first, changing to colder southerly airflow later in the day, but both likely to bring some rain. Starting at the northwest of the South Island, showers in 16 degrees for Greymouth and a slightly lower 15 degrees for Westport. Moving to the northeast, it's mild temperatures and showers for this area with 14 degrees in Nelson and 16 degrees for Blenheim. Moving to Canterbury, sunshine and almost balmy temperatures for this time of year with 16 degrees in Kaikoura, 14 in Christchurch and 17 degrees in Ashburton. Ashburton and Christchurch will see a few clouds in the mix as well. Moving to the southern towns, northerlies will subside with some rain later on for the Catlins and Balclutha with a high of 13 degrees, while rain eases in Lumsden and Gore, but expect a southerly change with your 13 degrees. Moving to the Central Lakes area, decreasing northerlies with some rain for most here, with 11 degrees expected for Queenstown, 12 for Wanaka and 13 for Alexandra. Te Anau can expect a southerly change with rain easing later on and a high of 12. Moving to the northern towns. Along the coast, you're due for some fresh northerlies with high cloud and 16 degrees for Timaru and 15 for Oamaru. It's a similar picture inland with fresh northerlies and rain later on for both Twizel and Amarama with a high of 13 degrees. Moving to Dunedin, fine tonight with northeasterlies and an overnight low of 8. Sunny periods at first tomorrow, but high cloud will increase throughout the day with moderate to fresh breezy northeasterlies, and temperatures are a little milder, a high of 14 and a low of 10. And it's overcast on Saturday with outbreaks of light rain at times, with moderate cooler southwesterlies developing later on, a high of 11 and a low of 8. And in Invercargill, cloudy tonight with fresh northerlies and an overnight low of 9 degrees. Overcast tomorrow with some light rain at times and mild northerlies dying out. A change to cooler southerly winds later in the day with rain easing to showers. A high of 13 and a low of 8. And it's cloudy on Saturday with showers and fresh cold southerly winds at times. A high of 10 and a low of 7. And that's all from the South Today team for this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.